Thank you very much, Councillor. The information, and really do appreciate in the small gesture we could remember a person so dear to all of us. Or to inform us. I'd rather do this first. Mr. Bassene, who's going to do the translation for this meeting now?
The Director Corporate Services should field that question, Mayor. I have found the Acting Director Technical Infrastructure Services. They are all in writing a test in the council chambers. All technical services managers attended a workshop this week and they're now writing a test.
Okay, now I will get to that. I just want to find out at this moment, do we have Director Corporate Services? Any person that will be able to be our interpreter or translator, what we normally call. Any person going to do that, Director Corporate Services?
I'm trying to get hold of Sidwell, Mayor. I thought that he is in the meeting already. I will just check quickly.
Okay, thank you very much. Councillors, those of you that just want to raise something, a word of support or condolences to Bart, as the chairperson, and this is my meeting, I'm the mayoral committee, I would allow you, those that do want to do it, and I just ask you, please be short in this regard. Dr. Louis Kippers, I see your hand.
Mr. Mayor, thank you very much for this opportunity. I've only known Bart since I've been in Knysna for the last 3 months, and he struck me as a very, very good person. I've had not a lot of interactions with him, but the calm way in which he handled our translations and so on made a deep impression on me. The sad part of all of this is that Bart was in a temporary position, and then we advertised the full-time position recently, and I just signed his full-time employment on Friday. So that's very sad for me in this respect. He would have received his letter of appointment or full-time appointment on Monday, and we lost him before he could receive that. So we're thinking of his family in these sad times, and I think for us as a municipality, and I want to say on behalf of the administration, we'll miss him a lot. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Acting MM. I see Councillor Bill Davis here. Councillor.
Thank you very much, Mayor. I also want to just, from my behalf of myself as well as the DA, just share condolences to the family. And, you know, Bart wasn't only an official at the municipality, but I knew him, you know, in the ministry, being in the ministry. And it's a loss not only for the church and the church community, but also for our council and for our municipality. And I can remember he was instrumental in assisting us, you know, in Sedgefield as well, when we had some tensions between people in our electricity program. And I mean, himself and Sidwell, they did an excellent job with the mediating. So I will always respect him. I pray, and my prayers for his family and for his children, that the legacy that was left by their dad and what he has imparted into them, both naturally and spiritually, will continue. And so our prayers over the family at this time. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Davis. Any other councillor or official? Councillor Skosana.
Greetings to everyone. Greetings to you, Mayor, as well, and your MECO members. Mayor, I'm running out of words to talk about the translator, Mr. Bart. You will remember we met him last time Friday when he was about to leave for Bloemfontein with his family. But Mr. Bart was a character on its own that God sent to this council. Ward councillors specifically will know that we were facing dynamics in our wards, mushroom and all those stuff, people who want services left, right, center, criminality within service protest, service delivery protested. But Bart will stand in front of the people and he will try to calm them and show them the road. And he will take his own time as well after work to phone us and read the scripture to some of us who don't know the scripture. And he left me with some few words from the scripture, which is Exodus 14:14, Mayor. If a person have a time, he must go and read it. He always believed that don't fight back. God is there to protect all of us equally. I know the family might have lost him as well, but in those few words, Mayor, he's irreplaceable, but we will be missing him. We must enjoy the moment that we have. That's what I've read out of Friday. We already knew that on Monday, I won't see Mr. Bart. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm saying this on behalf of the ANC. We are an organization of the community. We need all leaders like Bart. And we believe that there might be another leaders who might come as Bart. God never made a mistake. But with these few words, thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Kusana. I don't see any more hands. Thank you for those kind words, Councillor Lasse. I see your hand now.
Oh, thank you, Mayor. Maybe sometimes I have a problem of hands here, but thank you, Mayor, for the opportunity. Myself as a National Unity Congress Mayor, we make a condolence to the family of this kind man, this passed away. It's a uniter of the people of Naisna. I think also is already make a mark, but nevertheless, God is God. We can't do anything. But thank you a lot, Mayor. Even myself, I'm very sad days in these days, but thanks a lot.
Thank you, Councillor Lasse. If there are not any other councillor or official that want to say something, I just want to share with you two issues here about Bart. When I became the mayor, Bart was the one person that was very, very supportive of me. About every morning, actually, he will come to the office and he will speak in his soft voice. Morning, Mr. Mayor. Good luck for the day. We support you. I had never the opportunity actually to ask Bart, who are the we you are talking of? Because you, an individual coming in here, you could have said, I support you. Why do you talk about we support you? I had never the opportunity to ask him that question to get a response to that. As Councillor Kusana quite rightly said, Bart was supposed to leave on the Thursday. But he knew that we were supposed to have a meeting that Friday night with the community of OPAT, representatives of OPAT. And he asked Councillor Kusana, please arrange a meeting with the mayor for me on Friday morning. And then I will be leaving. But I just need to convey to him certain information that is very important for him when he go into that meeting. Now that clearly indicates council officials the type of man that Bart was. He will never think of his own circumstance. He will rather say that I will move or I will travel on Friday afternoon or later the morning. But I first need to deal with this issue. Really important. So on behalf of myself as the mayor, my party Congress of the People, our sincere condolence to Bart. And Kirsty is currently busy with a book of remembrance. Not Kirsty, sorry, the Director Corporate Services. And I would like all of you, if you want to, just to write into that book on the memory of Bart. Councillors, thank you very much. Now we will deal with our agenda. Number one is the opening and welcome. As the chairperson of this meeting, I would like to welcome all councillors present here, mayoral committee and other councillors, officials, audit committee members, as well as members of the public to this very important meeting, a meeting held under these circumstances, somber circumstances, and also a very difficult time in Knysna. In saying that, I believe that we should never ever forget why we are here. We should never forget that it's not going to be roses. Daar gaan dorings ook wees. And as we deal and accept the roses, we need to accept the thorns with them. So it's going to be a difficult meeting because of the loss of Bart, but also of things that is happening in our town, which we need to deal with decisively. So welcome to this meeting. Another probably is not a sad, it's also a sad story. I heard that Councillor Ace will leave this council at the end of the month. I assume that the speaker will probably engage with councillors on this issue and inform them about that situation. But if Councillor Ace is present here, I didn't see his name somewhere here. Councillor Ace, thank you very much. Sorry, I saw the end before going. Councillor Wasserman.
Thanks, Mayor. I just wanted to say that we received, the Impact Committee members received a letter from Councillor Ace in which he said to us that his last day was Monday the 21st. So it seems like he has left already, but I'm not sure.
No, thank you very much for that information, Councillor Wasserman. He probably sent a letter to me, but I'm a lazy person when it comes to the reading of emails. So I would not surprise if he sent me that. That is the type of person he is, that he will inform me about these things. But again, it's sad that Councillor Ace left the council, a man with a lot of experience. I still got his book here in the office, and I will read it whenever I have time, thinking of Councillor Ace. Director Corporate Services. I want us now to move. Yes, ma'am.
No, Mayor, I was looking at the letter that we received. It's saying 30th September. His last day is 30th September.
Okay. Thank you, Director. So for that information. Council, let's continue. In attendance, our second point on the agenda, members present. All members are present, as I've done earlier. There are no members absent with leave. There are therefore no members absent without leave. I acknowledge and welcome all other councillors present in this meeting. You're welcome. Participate in the discussions and the debate. Welcome all the officials present here. 2.5, 2.6. Already alluded to the chairperson of the audit committee, of the other audit committee members also present here. Welcome. And then a special welcome to the members of the public. Moving forward on the agenda, let's deal with number 3, the noting of the provision of the Code of Conduct. to councillors and the declaration of interested, the code of conduct that guided the activities and the operation of councillors. Number 4, if there are any person, especially the member of the mayoral committee, that need to declare an interest in any of these items, can you please do so? If not, I then accept that no councillor has any interest in any of the items that we're going to discuss and debate. So then let's move on to item number 5, the minutes of the previous meeting. It will start on page 7. Councillors, mayoral committee meeting, and I will do it page by page. On page 7, you will find that is the date and the time of that meeting. I'm not quite sure whether the meeting was scheduled for 9:10 or did we start at 9:10. But okay, let's leave that. Page 8. Page 9. And I didn't want to go back to this issue. I just want to make sure, was our interpreter absent at that meeting? Because I can't find his name as part of this meeting, Director Corporate Services. Director, can I repeat myself? I didn't find his name here. Was he absent at that meeting on interpreter?
He was in the meeting, Mr. Mayor. That is an oversight. We'll have to correct that.
Okay. Please check that one. On page 9, councillors, we've done that. Page 10, page 11, page 12, page 13, page 14, page 15, page 16, 17, 18, 19. Just on 19, the Director Corporate Services, item number 5, F20, 07-2020, report on the deviations for the COVID-19 period. Now, I'm not quite sure whether that heading could be correct, MM. We're still in COVID, so we're still in the COVID period, so I'm not quite sure whether it should be a specific time within the COVID period or just having that heading as COVID period. Can I just get some clarity on that? I just have to find out whether that is correct. If it is correct, I'll move on. MM? That's on page 19, sir.
Mr. Mayor, perhaps the correct would be for the COVID-19 period to date.
COVID-19 period to date. Okay, thank you very much, MM. We move on to page 20, page 21, page 22, page 23. Then I just want to make sure there's an item, report on staff housing policy at the top there. There's a resolution there. I wasn't quite sure whether that is the next mayoral committee or a mayoral committee, Mr. Skippers. I just want to make whether the minute is correct there. Is it correct that the report on staff housing policy be referred to the mayoral committee meeting for consideration? The next mayoral committee, I just understand, how's that? That was just for the...
Mr. Mayor, I'm getting there. I'm trying to refresh my memory, but if any of my colleagues can help with that, I cannot off the top of mind remember now.
Okay,
just give me the
correct,
page number
so
again,
let's
please,
move
Maya.
on. Let's not waste it. It would be page 25. Report on the staff housing policy. If the minute is correct, and that's what we decided, that was decided, then we can move on. It's fine. I'm not going to spend much time on this. Director Corporate Services.
Yes, Mayor, the minutes are correct. Subsequent to this item, there was a motion submitted by Councillor Chokolo to the previous council meeting on the same item. And I think there's a resolution of council in that regard. Thank you, Mayor.
Director, thank you very much, Councillor Wasserman. My apologies. I see.
Thanks, Mayor. I just wanted to, I see Councillor Chikolo's hand, so he'll probably also clarify, but Councillor Chikolo's motion was to do with looking at how the policy has been implemented for the past 2 years previously. But this item also speaks to going forward with what is going to happen with the staff housing function, especially in relation to the integrated human settlements function. So I think the Councillor Chikolo's motion doesn't take away from the item that is before you. Thanks, Mayor.
Hallo, is ons nog steeds in die meeting?
Yeah.
Hello? Oh, we're still here.
I apologize, councillors. I just promoted my connection. It just blanked out. Councillor,
Maya, we can't hear you. Maya van Aswegen.
then there's something wrong because I can hear you, Councillor Wasserman, but I can hear you. I'm not muted. Councillors, can you hear me?
We hear you,
Yes,
Mayor.
now.
You
Yes,
We can hear you now.
Yes, acting mayor.
There's some
Yes.
problem here. If everybody can hear me, let me rather than start again. I ended. Councillor Wasserman, were you finished? You actually break up there. Are you finished, ma'am? In your
Yes, I am, but
your concern or your question? Okay.
I
Thank
am,
you very
and I'm
much.
sure Councillor Chikolo will take it forward.
Okay, thank you very much, Councillor Wasserman. Councillor Chikolo, and then Councillor Matika. Councillor Tiokolo. There's
Let's move,
something
Mayor.
wrong
It's
here.
sleeping. Let's move. Let's move.
Okay. Okay. Councillor Matika.
Oh, good morning, Mayor. Good morning to the directors and all other councillors. I just wanted to make a suggestion. Since it was said that the staff housing policy be referred to the Mayoral Committee for consideration, I will have said that since it's not here, we can move that staff housing policy straight to the council. Then we move with the agenda. We can just move it because it's not here in front of us. Then we can just take it straight to the council if it's possible, to the council meeting. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you, Councillor Matika. Now, I just wanted to find out whether the minutes was correct. That should have been in the next mayoral committee. But if the correct, I'm happy. I was told it's correct. Let's move on. Page 26, page 27, page 28. page 29, page number 30.
Yes, Mayor, move, Mayor.
37. Okay, moving, so we go back to page.
Mayor, there's a problem with your
Where are
connection.
you now, Mayor?
That the minutes of the meeting held on the 22nd of July 2020 be approved. Are we happy with that, Mayor? I can hear you guys.
Where you are sitting today? To your office?
Yes,
or
I'm happy,
somewhere?
I'm happy, man.
I'm sitting in my office. I'm sitting in my office, but there's a problem here. I can hear you guys. You can't hear me.
No, I can hear you, Mayor.
We
Kosana
can
here.
hear you, Mayor. I think that just sometimes you
I'll come back to
somehow
you. No.
disappear.
I'll come back to you. I'm just in the Meko. I'll come back to you.
Okay, Councillor Matika, please switch off your.
Come back to you.
Okay. Okay, councillors, mayoral committee, page 6. Do we agree with the recommendation there?
Yes, Mayor.
Councillor Kosana here.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much. Councillors, we will move on now to item number 6, matters arising from the minutes. Are there any matters that you want to raise arising from the minutes we just approved? I don't see any hands.
None, Mayor.
Approve.
None?
Mayor.
Okay, let's move on. Thank you very much. Can we therefore go to number 7, items for consideration on page 39. The first one would be on page 40, items submitted to the Financial and Corporate Services Committee, meeting held on the 9th of September 2020. Councillor Kraus, can you please go through this for us, please?
Thanks, Mayor. On page 40, items submitted to the Financial and Corporate Services Committee, meeting held on 9 September 2020. Councillor Tiokol, I see your hand. Unless it's an old hand, I'm moving. MFC 01/09/2020 monthly budget statement for July 2020. Recommendation to the mayoral committee that it be noted. If MFC 02, okay, MFC 02/09/2020 quarterly budget statement, quarter for ending June 2020, recommendation to the mayoral committee that it be noted.
Mayoral committee, do we agree?
We agree, Mayor.
Yes, Mayor. Yes.
Let's move on. Councillor Kraus.
MFC 07/09/2020 capital budget report 29th of 2019-2020 as at 30 June 2020. Recommendation to the mayoral committee that it be noted and that directorates ensure that the capital spent is in accordance with the CAPEX budget.
Can I just ask a question, Councillor Kraus, on that specific one, the B part there? That the directorate ensures that the capital spent is in accordance with the CAPEX budget forecast. Because just remember, they've got a capital expenditure on a monthly basis. So I just want to get to that point. When you're talking about expenditure, it's for a specific month as being forecast in their budget. Is that correct, what you want to say here?
I think that is what is meant here, Mayor.
Okay. Next, thanks. Let's move on then, ma'am.
Okay, MFC 08/09/2020 summary of investments quarter for 2020. Recommendation to the mayoral committee that it be noted.
Committee agree?
Yes, Mayor.
Yes, Mayor.
Okay, move on.
MFC 09/09 2020 summary of external loans Q4 of 2020. Recommendation to the Mayoral Committee that the external loans for the quarter ending June 2020 be noted.
Great committee.
Yes, Papa. Yes, Papa.
Yeah, Mayor.
Move on.
Agreed.
MFC 10/09/2020 quarterly withdrawal report Q4 of 2020. Recommendation to the Mayoral Committee that it be noted and that a copy of this report be submitted to the Western Cape Provincial Treasury and the AG.
Agreed.
The members will agree to that?
Agreed.
Okay,
Mayor.
let's move forward.
Thanks, Mayor. That's mine.
Thank you, councillors. Next item will be thank you, Councillor Crouch, for that swift item submitted to the Infrastructure Services Committee meeting held on the 9th of September 2020. There's no items for noting. Can you take us through this quickly?
Mayor, you are disappearing again.
If
Mayor, do you want us to have an acting mayor as well, so that we have everyone acting today? I see your device. Maybe you want us to have an acting mayor?
Maybe the mayor is not aware of the problem because he keeps on speaking and then he is of the opinion that we are hearing him. Yeah. Can somebody not go to his office and tell him, Councillor
That's why I'm
Matika?
asking, does the mayor want us to have an acting mayor?
Then everybody is acting today. Councillor Matika, can you walk to the mayor's office?
Morning, Jolene, can you hear me now?
Okay,
yeah, I can hear you.
Let me be slowly. Councillor Bolmerans, can you hear me now?
Yes, Councillor Van
Councillor
Aswegen.
Bolmerans, can you hear me?
Yes, Councillor Van Aswegen.
Councillor Matika, can you hear me? Okay, councillors. Those
Councillor Van Aswegen, praat jy nog?
that can hear.
Councillor Van Aswegen, as jy nog besig is om te praat, kan ons jou nie hoor nie. Nee.
I will quickly adjourn this meeting. Councillors, councillors, just quickly, you see that message that you just heard now? I've probably spoke about it 2 minutes ago. So now I'm in the office of Kirsty. So let's just continue the meeting using her computer. There's something wrong with my computer. Yes, Manita achter. So let's just quickly now go to the next item. The item is Councillor Skosana, your item. Can you just deal with that quickly? I hope everybody can hear me now.
Much better, Mayor, much better.
Can you hear us now, Mayor? Can you hear us,
Okay.
Mayor? You are using your device. Can everyone hear us correctly now?
Okay, let's continue our meeting. If people can hear me now. Okay, now better on that side. Alright, dan kan ik weer terug naar mijn kantoor. Ik ga weer terug naar mijn kantoor. Okay, I'm back in my office. Can everybody hear me now clearly? I hope that all my problems have been solved now.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you very much. My apologies to all those people listening and even the public. That's probably how computers are dealing with us now. Okay, let's get back to the items. The next item would therefore be on page 42, but as I stated when you couldn't hear me, there's none items for noting. So we now deal with item number 43. Item submitted to the Planning and Development Committee meeting held on the 15th September 2020, the Bongani Catchment Rehabilitation Action Plan or Plan. There's a recommendation from the department. Committee members, are we in agreement? I see Councillor Skosana's hand. Councillor Skosana.
Thanks, Mayor. I think, Mayor, through you to the Director of Corporate, I think the items belong to be in page 55. If we read in page 55, we do have Bongani Cashman reputation, thereby MPND 11/0920. That recommendation belong there, it's recommendation B. But I need the advice of the Directorate, if I'm correct now, through your office, Mayor.
Yes, I actually had a mark next to it. So, Director Corporate Services, can you just assist us here? Before I'm killing the councillor responsible, which is Councillor Kusana, can you just assist us here? Director Corporate Services?
I'm quickly looking at it, Mayor. I will just tell you now.
Matika, please. Councillors, listen, Mayoral Committee members, please switch off your phones.
Yeah, it's not me.
Mr. Mayor?
Okay. I can see your hand, Councillor Teokolo.
Thank you,
Yes,
Mayor.
sir.
Thank you, Mayor. Good morning, Mayor. Good morning, everyone. Hey, I think I've got, I had a mic problem with the device that I was using before this. Now I'm using my phone. But thanks. Let me assist. I see the other stuff that I wanted to speak on, there was already resolutions. So I'll leave that, Mayor. But maybe just to assist on this one, the recommendation that we're looking at now, those are for consideration for this committee. And I think the one that Councillor Skosana was raising now, those are for noting only. So I think it is a bit confusing because they've separated it. The resolution that talks to noting is in the upcoming items, and then the ones that talk about the mayoral committee should consider, that's the one that we're dealing with now. So when you read it first time, it's confusing, but you must go for it for the second time. Thanks, Mayor.
Councillor Teokolo, thank you very much. That I was not the only person that experienced problems with my computer. Now I know that you read it more than once. Thank you for that information. Councillor Kusana.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you to Councillor Teokolo. While we're waiting for the director to give us direction, but I think the numbering as well, Mayor, if that's the case, we need also to check in the numbering. It's similar numbers in terms of MP and D 11/09/20. But I think the director will guide us.
Okay, thank you very much, Councillor Skosana. It's your directorate, it's your portfolio. Director Corporate Services.
Okay, now, Mayor, I've looked at it. Yes, as Councillor Teokolo was saying, it's split. There's items for noting, and then there's ones for resolution. So that's why it is appearing on two parts. That it will appear on the items for noting, and there's one area which was saying for noting. Then the other, the A, is for resolution. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's not waste too much time on that. There is a recommendation on page 43, the Bongani Cashman Rehabilitation Plan. Agree, councillors, Mayoral Committee members?
Yes, Mayor.
Okay,
Yes,
thank you very
Mayor.
much. Then on page 44, item submitted to the Integrated Human Settlements Committee held on the 10th of September 2020. Social housing program. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 recommendations. On page 44, are we in agreement with that? Mayoral Committee members?
Yes, agreed.
Yes, Mayor.
Thank you very much. Then there is on page 45, continuation integrated human settlements committee meeting on the 1st of September. There is no items for noting, so we now with the items for noting. Now there are two ways that you deal with it. You can deal with it by item, and we just collectively can agree to the noting of these things. I'm going through it item by item, and I just want to make sure that members took note of the bold letters on top there. Members are reminded that the relevant agendas of the portfolio committees is contained in the report and should thus be used as the source document when noting the resolutions below. MC 010920, Community Services Report for period July, for noting, agree?
Yes,
COVID-19 situation report, MC 020920, agreed?
Yes, ma'am.
03920, I saw a hand, Councillor Wolmerans. Ma'am.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Mayor, on this item, I just want to ask that whenever we are changing our dates or our times of meetings, that we must inform the relevant departments, because there was a change in date of the meeting. So the health environmental people from Eden was not present at the meeting. That's why this report is going to stand over to the next meeting. So that is just an appeal from me, please.
Thank you, Councillor Wolmerans. I know this was due to difficult circumstances, but I think the members of the Mayoral Committee and chairpersons' portfolios take note of what's been said by Councillor Wolmerans. Then we are on MC 040920, the progress report on the rollout of wheelie bins within the Greater Knysna area. There's a resolution. Are we agree with that?
Yes, ma'am.
We're not even supposed to agree because it's a resolution. We can just continue. Progress report on vector control rodents. That is next one. Agreed?
Yes, ma'am.
Exit strategy, homeless shelter at Lurie Park. Agreed on that one.
Yeah,
illegal dumping cleanup campaign on page 47. There's a resolution A, B, C, and D. We agree to that.
Support, meneer.
Okay, let's move on to page 48. Items submitted to the Finance and Corporate Services Committee meeting held on the 9th of September 2020. There's an insurance report. There's a resolution there, and we agree to that, councillors?
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much, councillors.
Yes, Mayor.
Skosana, you're the first one that is awake here. I didn't hear the voice of the Deputy Mayor yet. Monthly overtime and standby report, June 2020. We agree to that one, that resolution.
Yes, sir.
Then MFC 0509-2020, progress report on revenue enhancement strategy, fourth quarterly report, April to June.
Yes, sir.
Just on the B side there, and I know this is a resolution by this committee, just on the B side there, it stated there that the risk register on page 30 to 20. And I'm not quite sure whether I need now the guidance of Director Corporate Service. I don't see the MM still here. Yeah, he's still there. Just the guidance here, although there's a resolution, shouldn't it include that part of the report, that the risk register on page 13 to 20 of the report be implemented as such? I just want to get guidance there. I know it's a resolution. Director Corporate Services.
Yes, Mayor, I'm looking at the register. I think,
Now, the
Mayor,
point I want to,
we need to remove the pages.
remember there was a
and
report.
just.
Sorry to interrupt you there.
No, I'm saying we need to remove the pages, the page numbers, and just
So you just remove
that.
the page numbers. That's
Yes,
for
the
that.
risk register be implemented. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank
I just need to understand, because it's a resolution, whether we can change it here. I don't think so. But I just raised it. For me, it was a bit of concern. Then there is this outstanding debt report for the quarter ended 30th of June 2020, although it's again, it's a resolution that the credit control and debt collection statistics for the quarter ended of 30th of June 2020 be noted, and B, that the administration explore alternative innovative measures to communicating with the community in relation to the payment of outstanding debt and the application for indigent support. We agree or accept the resolution by the committee. I just need to, for future purposes, Morne and the committee, we need to identify irrecoverable debt. I've always said in more than one meetings, you cannot have debt there for 2 years, and you quite clearly know that those people will never be able to pay the debt. So I just believe that one state we should look at that morning and try to find out which of those debt that is in our books is irrecoverable, if they are. It's just a comment I want to make on that specific point. Agree to that resolution, councillors, mayoral committee members? If so, let's move on to page 50, the MFC 1109-2020 quarterly report on legal matters for the quarter 4 of 2020. Agree on the resolution there? Not agree? Know the resolution? Members of the committee, do we know the resolution there? That's my committee. Is there a problem again with my connection?
Yes, Mayor. Yes,
No,
Mayor.
Mayor, we hear you.
Okay. We note also the resolution MCFC 1209-2020, the Human Resource Quarterly Report for the month of June. We know that resolution, councillors, agreed?
Yes, agrees.
Yes, then on same page, MFC 39-2020, the Human Resources Quarterly Report for the month of July to August. That resolution we know there, agree?
Agree, Mayor.
Then on page 51, we go to the item submitted to the Infrastructure Service Committee meeting held on the 9th of September 2020, report on the municipal fleet August 2020. We agree or we note the resolution there. Committee?
Yes. Yes.
Then we move to MIS 020920, report on all capital and MIG projects. There's a resolution there, we know that. Then on page, then the next one will be the report on water losses in the Greater Knysna area. There's a resolution there that the content of the report with regard to water loss in the Greater Knysna area be noted. So we note that resolution, councillors.
Agreed, Mayor.
Right, we move on to MSI 040920, electro-technical capital report September 2020. There's a resolution there. We know that.
Agreed, Mayor.
Report on operation of the maintenance to stormwater and roads for the period July 2020, unanimously resolved. We know that resolution.
Agreed, Mayor.
Then we on the last one in that portfolio committee, the report on vandalism on water and sewer infrastructure. There's a resolution there. We know that resolution, committee.
Yes.
Agreed, Mayor.
Thank
Yes,
you.
Mayor.
Agreed, Mayor.
We now on page 53. Item submitted to the Planning and Development Committee meeting held on the 15th. On the 15th. Yeah. No, I'm fine, thanks. Sorry, councillors. Item submitted to the Planning and Development Committee meeting held on the 5th of September 2020. There is the Quarter 4 29 Performance Report, Economic Development Department. There's a resolution there. We know that one.
Yes, Mayor.
Yes.
Thank you. MP&D 020920, the Quarter 4 1920 Performance Report, Building Control Department. We know that resolution.
Agreed, Mayor.
Thank you. MP&D 030920, Quarter 4 1920 Performance Report, Land Use Management Division. We agree to that resolution, or we know that one? Not agree, we note it?
No, agreed.
Noted, Mayor.
Thank you.
Yes.
Building Control Department, Quarter 4 2019-2020 Progress Report, unanimous resolve. We know that one, councillors.
Yes, Mayor.
Yeah.
We're now on page 54, Quarter 4 2019 Performance Report, Environmental Management Department. Note that the resolution there. Thank
Yes,
you.
Mayor.
Thank you. Let's move on. Next one, West Grove Progress Report on Tourism Function Delivery within the Greater Knysna Municipal Area. There is the resolution there, that West Grove report for the period May 2020 to July 2020 as required by the service level agreement being noted. We know that one?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Mayor.
Okay. Can I, at this moment, just, I should have read all these things, it's important because we must remember that the public out there don't have this minutes in front of them. And I should have actually read all of these resolutions for noting. So I'm going to do it from now onwards. MP and D 070920, the Land Use Management Division July report. The resolution are there that the Land Use Management Departmental Performance Report for July 2020 be noted. Do we know that?
Noted.
Yes, Mayor.
Land. Now we're moving to the next one. The MP&D 0809-2020. The Land Use Management Division Overlay Zones Process Plan. Unanimously resolved that the process plan for the development of the overlay zone for Hornley, Smutsville, and Renendal be noted. Do we know that
Yes,
resolution, Councillor?
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you. MP&D, that means the Planning and Development Directorate, Economic Development Department, July report. Unanimous resolve that the Economic Development Department Departmental Performance Report for July 2020 be noted. We note that,
Yes.
councillors. Thank
Yes,
you.
sir.
Monthly Performance Report July 2020. Unanimously resolved that the Environmental Management Department Performance Monthly Report for 2021. I just need to make sure that that is correct. Report be noted. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Let's move on.
Yes, Mayor.
Bongani Catchment Rehabilitation Plan. Unanimously resolved that the report on the rehabilitation of the Bongani Catchment be noted. We know that one, councillors?
Mayor.
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Thank you. Large marine mammals stranding protocol. Unanimously resolved that the large marine animal stranding protocol be approved. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay, thank
Mayor.
you. Building Control Division report for July 2020-2021. Unanimously resolved that the Building Control report for July 2020 be noted.
Yes,
We
Mayor.
got that?
Good, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Let's move on to West Grove Progress Report on Tourism Function Delivery within the Greater Knysna Municipal Area. There's a resolution there. Do we agree stating that the West Grove report for the period August 2020 as required by the service level agreement be noted? We agree on that one? Not we agree
Yes, Mayor.
that we note that one. Then I can submit it to the Integrated Human Settlements Committee meeting held on the 10th of September. There's a resolution there on the draft Integrated Human Settlements Policy. A draft Knysna Municipality its Policy Framework Part 1 be adopted and approved. That Part 2 of the Knysna Municipalities Integrated Human Settlements Policy Framework be submitted 2, and I just want to make sure what the intention was of that resolution, to the next Integrated Human Settlements Committee or 2A. I just want to get clarity, Council's Deputy Mayor. That B resolution there of yours. Was the intention to have it submitted to the next Integrated Human Settlements Committee?
Yes, thank you very much, Mayor. Look, I just want to be certain, Mayor. Yes, I remember this. Can I just ask the acting director to assist on that one? Director Davi or Adlindile?
Okay, I see a hand. Director Corporate Services or the acting director Integrated Human Settlements? I see there's LP. Who's LP? LP is lid van parlement. Okay, Lindile.
Mr. Mayor.
Lindile Petuna.
Yes,
Go
Mr.
ahead,
Mayor,
sir.
that's me, Lindile. All right. Mr. Mayor, the item itself, the policy will have 2 parts to it. So this was part 1. We still have to develop part 2 and table it in the next meeting, so that we can complete the policies that are required for human settlements.
Now, thank you, Mr. Petuna. The only question I want to ask through to you, to the Deputy Mayor, the Chairman of the Committee, is it in the next Integrated Human Settlements or in a future Integrated Settlements? I just want to get clarity on that. Just my own Deputy Mayor, Mr. Petuna, it will be the next one.
Yes, Mayor,
it won't be the next
one.
Okay, thank you.
Manager?
Okay, sir. Deputy Mayor, what do you want to say, sir? Okay.
Mayor, Mr. Petuna, can you just, as the manager, as the acting director of the department, can you just respond to that question, please?
Right. No, I wanted to say that the agenda for the next committee meeting is already closed and that item is not there. So I wanted to say that it should be the future meeting rather than the next meeting, because it's not included because it's now closed.
Who's not muted there? I don't want to hear your conversations, private conversations, please, man. All councillors, officers, please mute your computer. Leave your private conversations for yourself. We don't want to hear it. Understanding you, Councillor Petuna. Mr. Petuna, my apologies. And that's why it's important, Deputy Mayor, that we are quite clear. You don't want to get to a next Integrated Human Settlements meeting, then people ask you, but they were supposed to be this part 2. Why is it not here? So I'm happy then to know that it will be a future Human Settlements Committee, that part 2 that will be then considered. So then coming back to the draft Integrated Human Settlements Policy, A, that one is correct, stated there. B will then be correct because we don't make reference to a specific IHS meeting. And then C, that the approved strategy plan and policy framework be worked with all staff, other departments, development partners, clients, and local community stakeholders to be conducted by the senior management of the Integrated Human Settlements Directorate with internal corporate support from the public participation and community sections. And there's a klomp goed gesê in een sinnetjie. But I think what is important here, that in our discussions with our communities, and that is where all these frustrations start sometimes, that we should be clear what we want to achieve through workshops and communication with public and staff and developers. Members of the committee, you happy with that resolution for noting?
Yes, Mayor.
Thank you very
Yes,
much.
Mayor.
Thank you very much, councillors. On page 58, item submitted to the continuation Integrated Human Settlements Committee meeting held on the 10th of September 2020. The current status, risk and challenges. Nice municipality. housing projects / program 2020-2021 unanimously resolved A, that the proposed interventions to mitigate against the identified risk and challenges be noted and supported. B, that the proposed interventions per each respective project be respectively approved. All right, ek is nou nie 'n linguist nie. But is that correct? How should I read that one? Director Corporate Services. Director Corporate Services, I just want to make sure the B resolution there, whether that is correct. I've said I'm not a linguist, but let me read it for you again. That the proposed interventions per each respective project be respectively approved.
No, it's not correct.
Is it not correct?
Intervention project be approved respectively.
I need some guidance here. Just remember, it's a resolution already taken by this committee, and whether the mayoral committee could change the wording of a committee, if that was their wording, but if it's just a simple linguistic mistake, whether we could change it here.
Yeah, Mayor,
Yes.
I think that's
Yes,
a
Deputy Mayor?
mistake. That one. Sorry, Mayor. Thank you very much once again. I think that's a mistake, Mayor, which need to be corrected. You know. Yeah, I think
Okay.
the director must just put the correct wording there. You know. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Deputy Mayor. If that is the way that and again, I need to be guided sometimes by all these knowledgeable people. If we can just then correct it in the way that the Director of Corporate Services is suggesting it. Can I just ask Councillor Mr. Petina, just hang on. I just want to ask people to be quiet outside here. Just hang on a minute. You know, councillors, you not always get the opportunity to ask the speaker to be quiet. So I had now the opportunity and het voel nogal lekker hoor. Coming back to Mr. Petuna.
All right, thank you, Mr. Mayor. The intent is exactly what Director Corporate is saying, and that should read that the proposed intervention per project be respectively approved. So it is correct interpretation by the Director Corporate Services. Thank you.
So it's worded correctly. Ek is nou be confused, jong. Lindile, moenie my confuse maak. Ek raak baie maklik confused. I've heard that
Mr. Mayor, what I'm saying is that the correct wording should be saying that the proposed interventions per project be respectively approved. So we should take away per each respective.
Just
yes.
Delete each respective. Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Then it will go. Thank you, Mr. Petuna. That the proposed interventions per project be respectively approved. C, that these issues be the subject of a determined risk management protocol and processes as outlined and guided by the National Municipality Internal Strategy Guidelines. And D, that the consideration of the draft IHS policy and placement process of the director be expedited, as it will be pivotal in limiting further consequential risk whilst containing the current risk identified in this report. Full stop. Ons gebruik groot terme, jy moet my baie keer ook confused maak. Members of the Mayoral Committee, are you happy to note this resolution? Can you hear me?
Yes, Mayor.
Slap.
Yes, Mayor.
Okay.
What are you?
Thank you, Councillor Lassie. You're the farthest from me, and you can hear me, but the council sitting next to my office, they can't hear me. Thank you, Councillor Lassie. Okay, thank you, Councillor Skosana. Right. Nice integrated human settlement business plan. That will be the next item, MI8S 04020. There's a resolution that the IS business plan for 2020-21 as approved by the Western Cape Department of Human Settlements be noted. Do we know that one as it is, councillors?
Yes, Mayor.
Thank you. The last item on page 58. That the report on the performance of 2019-20 IS business plan be noted. That is the housing business plan commencing on the 1st of April 2020 and the plan for the 2020-21 financial year. And that's the resolution by the committee there. Are we noting that resolutions, Mayoral Committee member?
Yes, Mayor. Yes, Mayor.
Okay, thank you very much, Deputy Mayor. I now see the hands of Dr. Louis Skippers, sir.
Mr. Mayor, if we're at the end of the agenda, I just want to say something. So if you, are we at the end of the agenda?
Okay, you want me first to finish the agenda and then you want to say something, is that correct?
Under item 9, items submitted directly to the Executive Mayor, I want to say something, Mayor.
Okay, I'm there now, sir, now you can speak.
Okay, Mr. Mayor, you will know that we've had a meeting with the OPAT residents on Friday, and we said that we're going to bring a report.
Can you just speak up a bit, sir?
I'm sorry. I'm saying we had a meeting with representatives of the OPAT community on Friday, and we said that we're going to bring a report to you for consideration today. Our report has just been distributed to the members of the MACO, and I'm wondering if, Mr. Mayor, we can do two things. I want to ask the administration to also distribute that report to all councillors, and then perhaps just give you 15 or 20 minutes to go through the report, and then for us to come back and to just have a discussion on that report, Mr. Mayor. It is entitled...
Louis, hou vast, jy moet nie so vinnig hardloop maar, want ek het ook nou die report gekry by Kirsty, hou net so 'n bietjie vast, ek sien 2 hande. The hands of Councillor Wolmerans, ek kom nou weer terug na jou toe, Louis, just hang on please. The hands of Councillor Wolmerans and Councillor Theokola. Councillor Wolmerans, you first.
No, we have received the report, sir.
Okay.
We have received.
Okay, thank you very much, Councillor Wolmerans. Councillor Zuko Theokola. Will you just, yes, ma'am?
We've received 2 reports.
Okay, I'm going to ask Dr. Skippers to respond to that 2 reports. Let me just get the second here, Councillor Theokola. You're going to second Councillor Wolmerans that you received the report?
No, Mayor, I'm not seconding. Mayor, mine was going to be if what Dr. Skippers was proposing, that you grant us 15 minutes. Also, Mayor, in committee, there were 2 items that we dealt with in the Finance and Corporate Services committee, but I'm not sure, but I don't think I've missed it. I didn't receive anything on that in the MACO. So I'm not sure whether that's also going to be circulated or what.
Yeah. Councillor Theokola, you jumping the gun, but it's fine, sir. Yeah. I'm going to ask Mr. Skippers just, or Dr. Skippers just to respond to that, but thank you for that, Councillor Theokola.
Thanks,
Dr. Louis Skippers.
Mr. Mayor, yes, so the report that I'm referring to is the one on the OPAT. Let me just get to that. I'll tell you now. OPAT Bungalows, it is titled. And together with that, there was also a letter that was copy of a letter that was also to the Department of Integrated Human Settlements that was also added to that report. So my suggestion is that councillors take 15 or 20 minutes to read the report, and that we then come back, so that you provide 15 minutes for the councillors to read the report before we come back to discuss it. Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Skipper. Just remember the comments or the question by Councillor Theokola, because we don't want again break for another 20 or 15 minutes about the in-committee item.
It says the next ordinary council meeting.
Councillor Crouch, please, idea, mute yourself.
Sorry, I'm talking to
Dr.
myself.
Skippers?
Sorry, Mayor.
Mr. Mayor,
Dr.
I'll
Skippers?
speak to Councillor Chokola now. I'm just a little bit lost. But if you break the meeting, I'll speak to Councillor Chokola and make sure that we are all on the same page. I'll speak to him. I'm suggesting that we
Okay.
suspend
And
the
I had
meeting
the
for
same question,
and
similar question that Councillor Theokola had, but I will get to that. So at this moment, there was a request from Dr. Skippers that councillors familiarize themselves with the item that was just sent to them. I'm not going to apologize on behalf of the directorate, but a lot of things happened in that specific department since last Friday night. And this is a very important item that we need to deal with as the mayoral committee. So if councillors believe, and especially the mayoral committee, but other councils also believe that they need more time than 15 minutes to go through it and read it, I will therefore rather than allow a half an hour for people to discuss it if they need that much time. Dr. Skippers, your hand is nog steeds op, Omar.
There is a one. I'm removing it. Sorry, Mayor.
Okay, I can see it's out there. Okay, councillors, do you need 15 or 30 minutes?
30.
Okay, Councillors Kosana, you need 30 minutes, councillors, so that we will just break for 30 minutes. It's now on my watch nearly 1/2 past, but let's make it 25 past. So your 30 minutes means that we will come back here 5:02. Have a nice cup of tea or coffee, wherever you are, eat breakfast. We'll be back at 5:02, and just to conclude this meeting on this very important item. Can I then also ask Dr. Louis Skippers to engage with Councillor Theokola on the issues of the green paper? I also want to speak to you about that specific item.
Mr. Mayor, I'll come up to your office and we can call Councillor Chokola together then.
Okay, thank you very much. Meeting break. Councillor Krauts.
I'm back, Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Krauts. Councillor Matika. Councillor Matika. Councillor Skosana. Councillor Skosana. Councillor Salase. Okay, it seems that the mayoral committee members is not present. Let me start
Hello,
again
Mayor.
with my...
Hello, Mayor.
Okay, thank you,
Skosana.
Councillor Skosana, you're there. I still need now Councillor, the Deputy Mayor and Councillor Matika and Salase to respond. Deputy Mayor, are you present in the meeting? Ndoda, waar is jy, jong? Councillor Salase? Seems to me that councillors don't know the difference between 30 minutes and 35 or 40 minutes. Councillor Salase?
I am here, Mayor. I am here, Mayor.
Okay. Thank you very much, Councillor Salase. Now, I think
Mayor?
with myself... Yes,
Mayor?
sir.
Acting Matika is here.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Matika. If somebody would be able to catch the Deputy Mayor where he's running around, just tell him we will continue now the meeting. Dr. Skippers, you are there and all your officials are present still. So, councillors, you've received a... Thank you. Thank you. I hope Mr. Basid knows that it's against live so that the public can hear what we debate and discuss. Mr. Basid, is that still the case?
Mayor, you are muted.
I'm not muted. I'm not muted. I can assure you I'm not muted, Councillor. Let me put off the camera. You probably can hear me. Can you hear me now?
Yes, Mayor.
Okay. Can I just then repeat? I know that Councillor Salase is here, Councillor Matika is here, yourself, Councillor Crouch is here. We're still waiting for the Deputy Mayor. The MM is here. I just need to find out from Mr. Besaidnout whether we are still live streaming so that the public out there can hear what we're busy debating here. Mr. Besaidnout, is that the case? There, I can see you, the Deputy Mayor, yes, I can see you present. Mr. Besaidnout, is jy nog daar, maat? Communications Manager. Dr. Skippers, can you just check on the communications manager whether we are still live so the public can hear what we debate?
I will follow up, Mr. Mayor. Just give me a minute or two.
Okay, because I don't want to start if that is not the situation. Okay, while we're waiting for the MM to come back to me on that specific issue, Deputy Mayor, I can see your hand. Do you want to say anything or ask anything? I see a few other hands. There's a Dieber guest. Who's that? I see a hand of a Dieber guest. Who's Dieber? Dieber, speak.
Mayor, it's not easy. It's Dieber's computer. We are still screening.
Okay, thank you very very much, my dear. Thank you very much. Okay, let's continue. Dr. Skippers, you've put this item in front of the mayoral committee. Is there any background you want to give councillors before we debate it?
Mr. Mayor, thank you. Councillors have had the opportunity to read the item. Like I said before, this is based on the protest action that we've received or that we've experienced last week, and we met with representative of OPAT. But in the report, you'll see that we're not only talking about OPAT. One of the things that we find in Knysna is that there are a few communities where people have been in what is called temporary relocation areas, but they've been there for many years. In the case of OPAT, I'm told that some of those people are living in those so-called TRAs for more than 10 years. And what we find is that one, that there's a differentiation between what you can do in a TRA, because a TRA is by definition a temporary thing. So you are not allowed to put in services as opposed to informal areas. So what we need to do, and this is what the report that we're bringing to you is, we need to, those areas that have been there for many years that are not in actual fact temporary, we need to redefine them as being informal areas, and then look at how we can assist those people. In OPAT, for instance, we find that people were put into structures because it was supposed to be temporary. Those structures are not the most sturdy, and over the 10 years or more that people have been there, those structures have deteriorated, and people are living in conditions that are not humane, Mr. Mayor. We also find that some of those people were moved from areas where they actually had services into the current situation where they do not have services. So we're coming with this report as a first step, trying to move towards that, defining those areas so that we can have a look at how it's possible to service those people and provide them with a more humane environment within which to live. So that's just the background to the report. This is not the final. We are in a process of considering what it is that we can do. So we want the mayoral committee to make these recommendations to the council, and between now and the council meeting we will also see whether we can get more specific information that we can place before council for council to have full information when it makes its decisions. So yeah, Mr. Mayor, I'm going to stop there now and have it open for debate and for questions, and we can then move from there.
I see two hands, the hands of Councillor Kraut, Skosana, Salase, Matika. I think, yes, I got Matika here. Yeah. Let me start with Councillor Kraut, followed by Salase, followed by Matika. Councillor Kraut.
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor, I just need to know if these on the page where there is mentioning that Bloemfontein 20, White Location 60, Happy Valley 30, Damsbos 80, Etenbeni 30, Opa 200, Shlalani 40, Koweni 50 excess beneficiaries. I just need to understand if that numbers is correct. And was an investigation done on exactly who is occupying the TRAs? Are there people that the people that are occupying these TRAs, are they the beneficiaries that's going to get houses? So I just need to understand that part. Thanks, Mayor.
Thank you. Let's get Councillor Salase quickly, and then can the MMN or the director respond to that. Councillor Salase.
Thank you, Mayor. I think, Mayor, sometimes when we take all hands, we repeat one thing, because myself also I want to know this report is accurate. Because if you speak, another thing I want to ask to Mayor, because I know this report somewhere is not accurate. There is no TRME, there is no 20 Vanguard in Bloemfontein. We must understand how many Vanguard in Bloemfontein instead of 20. So this report is accurate, and so that all of us, we can speak with something we know that is right. I don't want to repeat one thing, because we can take a lot of meeting. We must make sure that this report is accurate first. If it's not accurate, we must get the accurate report. Thanks, mate.
Thank you, Councillor Lase. Councillor Matika.
No, thank you. No, thank you very much, Mayor. I think, Mayor, I think I welcome the report, but there are just two issues that I think it's important for us as ward councillors to also to assist in this report in terms of assisting with the number of people that are there and the TRAs. Let me start by Etembeni. Etembeni, there were about 200 informal areas, houses, and there were about 200 applications that were approved for Etembeni. So out of 200, there were only 75 houses that were built by municipality in terms of phase one. So in terms of the people that are staying in TRAs, it's supposed to be 125 so that it can make up the number of 200. And then if you go to Happy Valley, there were about 100 approved houses that were built in Happy Valley. So only 50 RDP houses have been built in Happy Valley. So 100 minus 50, it should be 50 TRAs that are still left, that the houses still need to be built. Thank you very much, Mayor. Otherwise, I welcome the report. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Matika. Councillor Nezu.
Mayor, you hear me?
I can hear you, sir. Go ahead.
I want to just to ask a question in white locations, the 16 ones, because I don't know exactly where is this one in white location. I want to just to clarify for me on that one. And then in Kolweni is the 50 beneficial. I need to know these ones. I need a clarity on this. Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor Nezu. I saw the hand of Mr. Adonis. He was probably going to respond. So I've got all the councillors that raise their concerns. Mr. Adonis or the MM?
How Mayor, are you leaving me purpose?
No, but your hand left. But Mr. Adonis, before you respond, let's get the Councillor Skosana, because this actually originated in his ward. Councillor Skosana.
Thank you, Mayor. Let me first welcome the report, which is in front of us. And also, I think it's very important that we also look at the legislator, which have been quoted within this paragraph that we were given by the Directorate in terms of the Local Government Municipality Systems Act 32 of 2000, that it's always specified the ITP. We won't be able to assist things or services within our Greater Knysna project if our staff are not in the ITP. Nevertheless, having said that, I think I would like also to warn Mayor, when we were dealing with the issue of the late translator, Mr. Part, I think it's very important that people understand that Mr. Part was trying to brief us also around issues like this in terms of, one, when I see to the report does not speak to the Greater Knysna. In my ward specifically, there's an area called Negus East. There's bungalows there. The Von Falls have lost their families within those bungalows. If you go, you peruse this report, There is no Negis East here. On top of that, there is no head of fillet here in this report. I don't know whether they were omitted deliberately or not. Also, I need to understand in this report in terms of there's only Damsapos. You got two Damsapos, to be specific. You got Damsapos North, you got Damsapos South. Then I need to understand this 8, is it coming from Damsapos South, from the sport field up to the last bungalow in Damsapos South, if this is a report from Damsapos South. And I will need to conquer what Councillor Kraut said here, Mayor, that we need to understand that when we're doing this data capturing in OPAT, is it that everyone who's staying in that bungalow represented in this number, and is there's nothing saying to us here in front of me that a number, eight people are renting these bungalows. 12 are permanently moved by Maspala that they need assistance from our side. Are we omitted that information purposely? Because I know I was phoned yesterday, some bungalows were skipped when people were busy doing door-to-door in those bungalows in OPAT. But I'm in the view that people can't stay too long without services. People must not quote me wrong. I'm in full support in the holistic approach that we want to implement here in this report, so that our people, if there is funds, we assist them in terms of electrification. Also, Chair, in your recommendation, English is not my first language. It's talk about that transitional relocation area of Kolwini. Transitional, is it transitional or is it temporary relocation areas? I need to understand also that, Chair. And Chair, if we go with this recommendation, I will ask Council and the Mayoral Committee and councillors of the opposition parties that we must put these other areas to be part of this. Your Negis East, your head of LA in the other areas. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Kosana. All the councillors raised their hands and asked clarity and raised their concerns. Mr. Adonis.
Mayor, thank you, councillors. Good morning. I just want to clarify the issue around the numbers. What we have done, just want also to bring it under the council's attention. The department had a very short space to compile this report. Now, in terms of the numbers, what we have done, we've made a survey with regards to, you must remember, this is a transitional relocation site. So we've took the people that has been approved in the houses that we've built, and this is the leftover, the excess beneficiaries. That will mean that these beneficiaries and these numbers will not be accommodated into a house. And we need to make provision for services for these TRAs and the numbers. Now, there might be maybe 2, 3, or 5 that we still need to incorporate, but I think the numbers are quite accurate in terms of our calculation, who will be the people that will not be accommodated in the current housing projects. In terms of the areas, I think also, as Councillor Kosana has indicated, we should split the Damsapos areas. With regards to the Heidevallei was never a TRA. And I think Councillor Nezu from Ward 4, the Kolweni TRA is currently at the field, and then there is a few also under the power line. So we and myself and the councillor and the chairperson was at a public meeting yesterday in Kolweni to deal with the 41 houses. So in terms of the purpose, the fundamental purpose of this item is to look into services and to start the ball rolling with regards to the principles of servicing these TRAs as informal informal areas because of the time span under which those TRAs are there. So I would, Lindile, can you maybe also come in there to just add something if you wish?
All right, thank you, Davi. Just to come in, we have started verification in OPAT currently, and that verification we started during the day, and then during the day some of the people were not there, and then we went back after hours to finalize that verification in OPAT. Now that verification is going to take place in all of these areas. So the numbers might change because of the fact that some of the people might have moved and there are people renting, but we've done a calculation on the basis of who will receive a house and the excess community that would be there in terms of that. So that's what we have done in the item itself. Now, the one area that we did not include currently, which is being serviced by Eskom in terms of electricity, is Rienendal, because there was a meeting with Eskom in this regard. But I just want to think that we should be including Rienendal, because in terms of access to rudimentary services, other services, the municipality would still need to provide. What councillors also need to look at is the attachment that you have here, which is an application that was submitted to the department in January of this year, where we mentioned the areas because we were applying for funding in order to assist the development of these areas, utilizing the UISP funding. So the areas have been mentioned on page 2 of the letter, and what needed to be done has already also been outlined, being the appointment of service providers from the database of service providers to undertake surveying, enumeration, and profiling. So that's the work that we have started now to do because of what we see that the communities are not happy about these things and they need action quicker. So we've started to deal with that. And areas like Rienendal, Flanders, Damsepos, Only, Backyard, and Nekis are also mentioned already there in terms of that. So there is that letter that is there already that deals with those aspects. Then in terms of white location, Councillor would know that there is a project that is managed by Syntec, wherein some of the beneficiaries will receive houses, some will be on Apex units, which are the 66 units, and then there will be 16 units, which would be on council land. And those are bungalows that will remain there for some time because there's no land currently to deal with that. So those bungalows need to be serviced then because they we don't have land and we don't have project in that area at this point in time. Kolweni, I think David dealt with it. The project was supposed to cover 220 beneficiaries which have been approved on the system, but due to land shortages, we can only accommodate 170 beneficiaries on that in terms of the houses that are currently being built. So that's why we've got that number, which is 50 in terms of excess beneficiaries. Somehow they need to be serviced. And then in terms of what Councillor Skosana was saying, it is correct that the project should be included in the ITP. I'm not sure if why they were not then included by the community, but they should have been included in the ITP. No wonder we have then dealt under assessment on the issues of spatial planning policies, which would have ensured that these projects like this one are then included and are part and parcel of the strategic plan of the municipality over a 5-year period. Then Heidefale is not a TRA. It's a matter that is undergoing planning currently. So there will be services there in that area. And in terms of renting of bungalows, we'll deal with that in terms of the survey that we are currently doing. Our field workers are on the ground as we speak, dealing with that. Thank you, Chairperson.
Mayor.
Mr. Patuna, thank you very much. Sometimes I said, no, let me not go there. Let me rather get Council Kusana and then Mr. Dunas, I see still your hand, Council Kusana.
Mayor, I won't sit here and accept things that is not. The acting director is very mistaken by saying that in head of a lady, we don't have temporary relocation place. People of Nekis West, Nekis East, I just hope Tio was part of this meeting. Some of the people were moved to that area under that light, which is just there at the time of Mawitu. We got so-called colored community that have been left behind there. They are sitting there more than 6 years in that site, and a small portion next to Nekis West at head of a lane. That was a relocation place for some communities. From your greenhouse, which is your Ngamile, down there, when the building was taking place, people were moved to Hedafale, where we left +6 minus Bangalore. That was a relocation place. We have people there who are like the people of Opat. Because this thing will get out and it's going to be a racial thing again. That's the thing I'm saying, that let's put all these areas, like your Negus East, no one is saying that it's going to reflect in the recommendation. Those people who are here, they got the same problem as the other areas. Similar Breckenhill, the school site, where there's no electricity, got +6 houses there. I think it also need to be packaged within this report that we want to electrify these areas. Let me stop there, Director, your chairperson.
Thank you, Council Kusana. Now I see a lot of councils again. Okay. Council Zalase, Council Mezu.
Thank you, Mayor. That's why I want to know the report is accurate first. But I don't mind, because I don't want to engage with something I feel and I know is not accurate. That's why, Mayor, I ask it so that I can get out of myself in this something is not right to me. You see, because as I'm saying that I look at in this report, according to me, this report is not accurate. If you go to the Bloemfontein, there's not 20 bangers there. It's more than 20 bangers there. If you go at Tembeni, there's not 30 bangers. As Councillor Matika say, it's more than maybe it's 80, 100 and something bangers there. Unless I engage myself with something I know is accurate. To me, Mayor, I don't engage in this report further more until we get the accurate report at the moment. At the moment, I don't know what we are engaging here. It's not correct. It's not correct according to the report. It's not correct even if we can go into the site visitor and look at in the Bloemfontein now as we speak. Every port is past there. There's no 20 bangad there. It's a lot of bangad, but we speak about 20 bangad there. We service 20 bangad, and then what is another 400, 300? It's another fire again. So I think, to me, Mayor, I choose myself to this report because I know this report is not accurate. I think I speak now and then I'm not speaking again in this one, the report, because I feel and I know it's not take us anywhere. Thank you, Mayor.
Somebody, listen here. Thank you, Councillor Salase. There's again some sound somewhere there. Councillor Nesi.
Okay, thanks. My mayor is short. Now, I think this report is not finalized. It's just it can change somehow. Now, I don't want to talk about Ward 4. I want to say on my side. But all our wards, I think there's a TRAs in those areas. Now we need to make sure this report is not finalized. Is just what I want to know in this report, because in my side too, I think this report is not finalized. Now I need just from something come from your side. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you, Councillor Nezu. Mr. Petuna, you want to respond? And also see the hands of the Dr. Skippers. Dr. Skippers, I think you know the senior person. Let's give you the opportunity first to respond.
Mr. Mayor, thank you very much. I think Councillor Nezu just now said what I wanted to say. This is a report that was developed under extreme in extreme haste since Friday. So the report is not final. From here on, the department will liaise with the councillors, make sure that we get our figures and our facts correct, and then also go out and verify those figures and facts. So councillors, I don't think should really be too concerned about the accuracy at this point. There is an opportunity for councillors to interact with the department to make sure that we have our facts correct. We just wanted to get the discussion underway so that we can start looking at what we can do in order to provide services to people in areas such as the ones that we've described here. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Petuna, you still want to respond after the have spoken?
Let me just say something, Mr. Mayor. I think there are two things, Mr. Mayor, that perhaps I need to deal with. Is the fact that in some of these areas, there are current projects. Bloemfontein has got a current project. 75 beneficiaries will be moved in November to houses, and the TRA will then have leftover numbers. That's what we focused on in terms of that. However, I also want to direct councillors to recommendation number G of the item itself, because I think this will assist. Recommendation number G says integrated human settlements verify occupants of the Wendy houses and formulate a database. It then means that there will be a further report that will be tabled to council after the verification has happened. And that verification will be done with the assistance of the ward councillors, which then means that we will, in fact, have the ward councillors as part of this process to assist us. But we will do that verification as we have started in OPAT. So the numbers as they are, they may change. No wonder you see on the recommendation, it doesn't talk about the numbers, it merely talks about the areas. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Petuna. Mr. Adonis, you will then be the last person, and then we have to move forward.
Chairperson, I also want to say that we must read paragraph 3, under the discussion. Those figures we must read in the context of paragraph 2 under the background. Because the Councillor Salazi is right. There is, in Bloemfontein, there's 170 TRA Wendy houses, but only 20, as we indicate in paragraph 3, we will need to deal with under this item with regards to services. So that's the context of the report. And as Lindile and the MM indicated, that this is work in progress, but there is a recommendation that can take the administration into a direction. And if the MACO indicated to us that they agree with the recommendations, we will then be able, from the administration side, to put in place the wishes of the MACO. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Adonis. Now give opportunity for the Deputy Mayor. I see your hand, Chairperson of Human Settlements.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mayor. Once again, good morning, colleagues. Mayor, I think Director, look, let me begin by saying that I've acknowledged concerns raised by councillors. You know, in terms of the number of Wendy houses of bungalows in the different areas, and I'm very happy with the explanation from Manager Petun as well as the acting director. Colleagues, we really need to understand. Of late, the situation or the condition which we are operating under, I mean, it's very tremendous. So I therefore want Chair Mayor to support so that something can be done into those areas. We cannot allow, not at this day, at age, allow people, particularly what MM have explained, the manner in which people of Opat and other areas are living. Those conditions are really not acceptable, you know. So I think this report, it also assists us, you know, as the municipality or as the council, so that we can begin to do something about the condition. I therefore want to move, Mayor. I therefore want to move to accept this report. And as Director Tunis have explained, and Councillor Salas is quite right, and Manager Petuna, that this is not finalized, but we need to start somewhere, colleagues, in order for us to move. Thank you very much. In order for us to move forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Councillor Kusana, try your luck, Buddha. Try your luck again. Go ahead, sir.
Chair, I accept the report, but there's one thing I won't support it. If the Nekis name is not in the report, Nekis East, then I won't support this thing. Those people of Nekis East will come to my house. It must refer to the report so that even if there's another councillor on 2021 or 2022 dealing with this project, then we have something on record. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Councillor Skosana. Hey, Matika, where are you coming from? Councillor Matika.
No, it's fine. Mayor, I just wanted to say, as I was said, welcome the report as you speak about all these areas. And just want us to put maybe on the recommendations that it must include, I don't know if it's Calcol there, and Nekis East as well. And before, and also in the recommendation that correct, before it goes to the council chamber, to the council, that the correct figures must be presented to the next council. But I support everything. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor Matika. Councillor Skosana, put down your hand, please, sir. Councillor Krauts. En ek gaan sê maar Doda is die laaste ene. Councillor Krauts.
Thanks, Mayor. I think I support what Councillor Matika said, but I also think we need to include that a report on the TRAs, on who is occupying these TRAs of people that are beneficiaries or not, that the type of report like that come to council. Mayor.
Thank you,
Mayor.
Councillor. Thank you, Councillor Krauts. I believe Councillor Skosana, that is not a new hand, it's an old hand. If it is, please put it down, sir. Same applies to Councillor Krauts. I still see your two hands. Thank you, Councillor Skosana. Councillors, officials, thank you very much. Let me start by saying the following. As ou Afrikaans gesegde, Councillor Skosana, wat soos volg lê, jy moet nie die baba saam met die badwater uitgooi nie. I think that we therefore need to understand how this report originated, where did it come from, what was the purpose of that report. And I think it started after engagement with the community of Opat, but understanding that we need not to be concentrating on a specific area, but rather look at it in the whole of Knysna. And therefore, we all would agree that from last Friday to now, we need to congratulate the department to come up with a report to this mayoral committee meeting on such notice, knowing that quite well that they wouldn't have the time and energy probably or human resource capability to get all the numbers correct. But it's about the principle that we need to talk about here. It's not necessary to talk about whether information is correct. It should be a principle. And I'm not saying that the correct information, Councillor Salase, should not be an argument. But we need to take a decision on certain principal issues, and that's for me important. Add on to that, there was another letter which I received. Now, I'm not quite sure, Mr. Petuna, when he was referring to this specific letter that was written by Joel, the one under the heading Formal Application Profiling of Backyard and Informal Settlement Dwellers, as well as the development of containerized facilities for the temporary location areas. I'm not quite sure whether I was supposed to read this as part of your report, but I want to get to the report on the following issues. Landila, your hand is up. What are you trying to tell me before I continue?
No, Mr. Mayor, I was saying that that report, that is part and parcel of the report. It's an application that we submitted for all these areas prior in January. Thank you.
Okay. Because, thank you very much, sir. Because in reading that report, I saw in Council's last one, because in reading that report, it probably will also tell us that some names that were not mentioned probably in the report, you now find being mentioned in this letter also. Councillor Last, before I continue, I see your hand, sir.
No, thanks, Mayor. Mayor, must this report still go to the council chamber? Eh? This is what I know.
Oh, you're right. No, you're right, sir. They will get all the right information.
Okay, no, it's no
Yes.
problem. Still, we deal with them in the council chamber because I
Yes.
feel I still maintain I'm not engaged in this in front of me. Thanks, Mayor.
No, you must not engage the information, you must engage the principal decision, sir. You're quite correct. At the council meeting on when I'm not quite sure speaker when the meeting is, this committee, the mayoral committee, because it doesn't have the delegated authority to take this decision, it should be a council decision, especially when you deal with the references to finances. And that's why I want us just to get to the report on the financial implications at the top there above the recommendation. It's stated there, and I want to get some guidance and clarity here, Louis and Davi and Mr. Petuna. For the provision of electricity, there is already a submission to the DME for the OPAT area and various other informal areas. Furthermore, it's now required, that I want to get to. Furthermore, it is now required that funds are sourced from the internal funding for the electrification of the OPAT TRA on a phased approach. Now, that's the first part I want to get clarity on, and I'm going to say why now. I'm going to say why now. Then, second part, integrated human settlement director already dispatched field workers, and that's fine, and that is to collect the data of all resident OPAT area, and we'll do the same, councillors, for all TRAs to ensure that the occupant is the original beneficiary. Further to this, assessment of the Wendy units will be carried out and costed to enable to upkeep. So there's going to be, in my understanding here, that we will have people, field workers going out. Exactly, Councillor Larsen, to ascertain that the numbers is correct. Then the last one, an application was also submitted for profiling of backyard dwellers. There's the one that we've just read, and informal settlement dwellers, as well as the development of a containerized facility. That's July word for temporary relocation areas. OPAT and other areas form part of this, and on approval of the funding from the Provincial Department of Human Settlements, occupants will benefit. So in essence, what I'm trying to say here, councillors, is that there is still, and we all agree on that, there is still work to be done. But we need to start the process now to speed up the process and not wait and be caught again with our pants on our knees. And then we say that we defer something because I wasn't happy it should be 10 and not 11. We accept that. But when you look at the recommendation down here, and that is probably Councillor Skosana, which we need now clear indications. So when you're talking about transitionally relocated areas, you mentioned about that word, Kolweni, Opa, Damsbos, White Location, Happy Valley, Etenbeni, be redefined as informal areas. We need now to find out, sir, Mr. Petuna, whether there are any other TRA areas that has not been identified here to be re-identified as informal areas. I want to get an answer towards this. Let me repeat myself again. That is the recommendation here. So the question is, are there any other TRAs that needs to be redefined as informal areas that is not listed here? Mr. Petuna?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think Mr. Mayor, the councillors have suggested that we include Nekis East, Kalkol. The other one that I thought we would include is Rienendal, which was included as part of the submission. So those are the three areas that need to be included. What we were supposed to also do was to submit plans showing where those TRAs are. So when the item goes to full council, we will submit aerial photography to show the location of those TRAs.
Okay. Councillor Kosana, you understand what I'm heading with my argument here, but I'll give you the opportunity, Councillor Kosana.
Yes, Chair, I understand you are following me correctly. And thanks what Petuna's admission that he just did. But the question I'm having here, Chair, is that area of Breckenhill where the voting station is, there's 6 houses there which is not electrified. Are we including them here because they are informal area as well?
Mr. Adonis, you want to respond? I could do it myself, but Mirada, let the administrator respond to that. Mr. Adonis, you heard the question of Councillor Kosana?
Mayor, I would like the councillors to focus on the TRA areas, because we have a lot of informal areas that is not electrified. But this item specifically deals with the TRAs. And a TRA is a temporary relocation area where there is a current housing project busy to be developed. Now all that we're asking here, councillors, is just that those people that will not be accommodated in houses, that we define the rest of those houses as informal areas, so that we can deal with a funding mechanism under the housing code for those areas.
Thank you, Mr. Adonis, and I just want to repeat myself. The redefinition of TRAs as informal areas started with the argument the moment people are living in a TRA for 6, 7, 8, 9 years, it cannot still be a TRA. And for that reason, council need to reconsider. You cannot continue using that as a TRA because it got its own limits in the provision of services there. So why don't you then redefine that as an informal areas, which then allow the municipality to get funding to provide services there? So that was the argument behind it, that the moment people are staying for years in a TRA, you cannot continue saying it's a TRA anymore. Because in doing that, and I repeat myself, and I want council to understand me, and just, they stop me as a verkeerd is in my assessment here. So the reason that we're saying that if these people are living for 6, 7 years in the TRA, we should then rather redefine that TRA as an informal area so that we will be able to apply or to serve those people with services. So what we did now in A is that we say those are the areas that we should consider to be redefined as informal areas because people are living there beyond the so-called time frame of what the TRA is there for. And those areas are Kolweni, Oupa, Damsebos, White Location, Redendal, Neckes East, Happy Valley, and Tembani. Are we happy with that recommendation, members of the Mayoral Committee? Speak now before ever quiet, Deputy Mayor. Deputy Mayor? Members of the Mayoral Committee are happy with the A.
Mayor, look, from where I'm sitting, I'm quite happy with this report, Mayor. I'm happy. Let's move, Mayor. We don't have time. Thank you.
Thank you. So we're happy, Councillor Suskana. Are you happy with the A part of it?
No, we need to put it for later. There are 4 families there which were moved by us. They in Hedefale. We are staying in bungalows. It must be part here. It must reflect.
Okay. You are saying, and I saw Mr. Aduna said now, you are saying, Councillor Skosana, that Hedefale, because of those TRAs, the same people is living there now for 7-8 years. If the argument is that a TRA could not go beyond a certain time frame, and these people are still living there for 7-8 years, that should be defined as an informal area. Mr. Adonis, because I want to move on this, councillors. Mr. Adonis, I see you and Councillor Deputy Mayor. Mr. Adonis.
Let me just explain the situation in Hedefale. Hedefale has 135 service sites. There is sewer, there's water, there is electricity. So that is already being developed. The only outstanding issue in Hedefale is the issue of environmental authorization. So by definition, Hedefale is not an informal site because there's already services. So what we need to do, we need to understand that there are people staying in Hedefale that we can accommodate in a project in Hedefale because there's already services.
Understanding, Councillor Gosana, in order to move to an informal area is to get to these people certain services. Those services, according to Mr. Adonis, is already being supplied in Hedefale. Councillor
Yes, I agree with those services, but one argument is that we took those people from Greenhouse near close to the end Union Trail Road. They used to have electricity, like your Neckes East, like your Opat, like the other areas. How will the councillor then answer to those people when they see the other area is getting electrified, they don't have electricity? What should the answer be then to them? Because then they are in the same category.
Mr. Adonis, I don't want to yes and no, but let's give an answer there, please, sir.
No, Mayor, I think we can move on this. I don't want to get into a debate with the councillor on this. Thank you.
What do you don't want to get into, sir? What do you don't want to get into, sir?
I've already explained myself, Mayor. I've already explained myself.
Okay. Councillors? Councillor Skosana quite that we should add Hedefale there. If there's no any other councillors that disagree with Councillor Skosana, then we include Hedefale. Just remember, and I want to be quite clear on this issue, we are trying to assist those people in TRAs to get services. In order for them to get services, we need to assist those people that is living for years in these TRAs to redefine them as informal areas. We've identified those people, If the mayoral committee said we must add Haida Valley, then we do that. Now the mayoral committee members are quiet.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mayor. As the ward council of that ward. Thank you.
Okay.
Yes, no, we agree, Mayor.
Okay, then we just put in the Haida Valley. Right, let's go now to B. And the B we all are happy with. Karel Matthias, hoekom praat jy nou, man? Speak to me, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Should Kalko, Nakis East, and Renendal also be included in A, as suggested by the housing official?
Yep, no, we've done it. I've already written it down here. It should be included there. The only one that I omitted was the Haida Valley one. Mr. Matthias, did you get me?
Thank you, Mayor.
Okay. There's no problem with the B1. Technical Service, the Directorate facilitate the provision of rudimentary services, inclusive of electricity in the above areas. Julle dan groot Engelse woorde baie keer. Councillor Mr. Matthias, wat beteken 'n groot woord? Rudimentary services, ja. Ek is Afrikaans onderwyser.
I'm not a technical expert, Mr. Mayor, but that means basic services in common language.
Okay, now why didn't we say just basic services, man? Yep. Okay. Is the word basic services more acceptable, or do you want that nice word? What rudimentary services? What word do you want there? But toen jy moet sulke hoë woorde skryf. So okay, we're happy with that one. No councillor of the mayoral committee disagree. Mr. Petuna.
No, Mayor, I was just going to say it's interim basic services.
Basic services.
That's the interim basic services, yes. So we can use that word.
That's what I understand, and that's what the community understand. Don't give the big words, man, that is confusing. Right, C. Technical services develop a plan of electrification of the above areas for council approval. Just remember, there must be a plan, otherwise we don't be able to get electricity. So that one we agree on as a recommendation to council. Councillors, is that correct?
Yes, Mayor.
Mayoral committee, please.
Yes.
Thank you, Councillor Skosana. Councillor Salasa, you moet saamstem, maar
Mayor.
jy moet nie daar. Thank you. Okay, let's move on to D. A spatial development framework be amended to ensure identification of land for future human settlements developments. Happy with that recommendation, councillors?
Yes, Mayor. Time frame on it would be nice.
Thank you, councillors. Salasa, jy steeds stil, maat. Ek gaan jou nou hoor praat. E. That integrated human settlements director utilize vote number 921652839 for the repair of bungalows. Now, that one is very important, council, because that one is very important because that is also depending on this field workers' investigation to ascertain which of those bungalows need repair. There might be a possibility that it might only be 1 or 2 or 3. It might also be 500, and then we might end up with a problem with the vote number, that there might not be sufficient money in that. Speel jy maar musiek, Boeta, speel jy maar musiek. There might not be sufficient funding in that specific vote, and therefore, councillors, you probably then have to prioritize in that instance. So just take cognizance thereof. Depending on the field workers that's going to collect the data, you might end up how many people's houses need to be repaired. And there's a specific vote now mentioned here. And in the specific vote, there might only be a specific amount. And based on that, you might eventually need to prioritize who will be the first and who will be the last. I just want people to be clear about that. Is my interpretation therefore correct, Mr. Adonis, in making that comment? Mr. Adonis, hoe kom jy nou stil?
Mr. Mayor, perhaps can you repeat that? Mr. Adonis is on his way to me. I needed him urgently. So I asked him to come over to me. So can you please just repeat that?
Let me repeat. Just remember, we make reference in our recommendation about a specific vote number. Now, there's going to be field workers collecting data. Now, these bungalows that need to be repaired, we don't know currently how much of them are there and what is the status of the bungalows, the state of repair that needed. So we might end up in a situation that we have a lot of bungalows and the reparation there might exceed the budget in that specific vote. Therefore, it's important for the field workers to come back with all the information, and based on that, it might need to be prioritized. My assessment or something there correct, Mr. Adonis, I see your hand.
You're correct, Mayor. And we will also be able to utilize the material of the bungalows that we demolish when we move the people in the houses. That will also have an impact on budget.
Thank you very much. Members of the Mayoral Committee, you now understand my argument in this regard. You're still happy with the recommendation as it is there?
Yes,
Yes,
Mayor.
sir.
Yes, Mayor. We are
Thank
happy.
you. Thank you. Then we go to F. Technical service. His errands are late, maar dit is het das. Just for information, there's a Charles Courtnam. His name is flickering. I'm not quite sure whether that person is responsible for all these noises, but Charles, it's daar by jou in die regio, man. Going back to F, technical service facilitate electrification of Wendy houses. We happy with that recommendation?
Yes, Mayor.
Okay. Then the last one, the integrated human settlements verify occupants of the Wendy houses and formulate a database. Happy with that one?
Yes, they're pleased with that. They said that.
Okay,
Thank you.
Mr. Petuna, block me voor ek aangaan. What is it, sir?
No, Mr. Mayor, I just wanted to know, is it technical services or infrastructure services? So that the recommendations read the right direction. Yes.
Okay, I'm not going to say that you become technical also. It's infrastructure. It's infrastructure. Let's correct it, sir. You correct it. I was already reprimanded, I think, by Councillor Matika about this. Councillor Matika, you must read these things, man. Okay. Now, in closing, before we get to that, just remember, the Mayoral Committee, this will be a recommendation to Council, and therefore it's important then when we got to Council, that Councillor Salasi, all the correct information are there, so that we don't have this debate again that is hier regie and dis nie regie. So Dr. Skeepers, please, go into Council, that the data or the information in that report to Council will be the correct information, please. Is that an agreement, councillors?
Yes, sir.
Members of the committee are happy with that? Okay, can we therefore agree to the recommendation to council?
Yeah, there's a hand of the director of the MM.
No. MM, yes, sir.
No, I want to, when you're done with this item, Chair, so you can finalize this item, but when you're done with this item, I'd just like to be recognized.
No, thank you very much, MM. Members of the committee, happy with the recommendation?
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. Only Councillor Kosana. Any other mayoral committee members? I want to know, because just remember it's important that we agree on the recommendation. I've got Councillor Kosana, Councillor Crouch. Die mense is met die meeting. Councillor Crouch. Okay, Deputy Mayor. No, I've got your support, Councillor Kosana. Deputy Mayor.
No, I'm supporting, Mayor. I'm supporting.
Okay, thank you very much, Councillor Crouch. Deputy Mayor. Waar is een door dan nou weer? Councillor Kraus, gaan vang af die deputy mayor asseblief. Councillor Matika. You supporting this recommendation, sir? Where are the councillors? Councillor Matika, I'm looking for the Councillor Matika. Councillor Salase, I know you're always there.
Praat het van die Mayoral Committee members geword nou, Meyer?
Hulle is able. Ons gaan hulle vra dat hulle salaris afgetrek word. Because we cannot move this recommendation if all of us is not in agreement, as I understand this process that needs to be followed. So I need to find out where the deputy mayor is, where Councillor Matika is and Councillor Salase. Dr. Skeepers, gaan jy eens lang aan terwyl ons die mense probeer vang?
Yes, Mayor. Mayor,
You agree, Deputy Mayor, with the recommendation?
Mayor, I fully agree with the recommendation. I fully agree.
Thank you, sir. I'm still needing Councillor Matika and Councillor Salase. Dr. Skeepers.
Mr. Meyer?
Mr. Matthias?
Thank you. I've just emailed you the amended and edited recommendation to yourself and to Kirsty. If you would just like to go through it or perhaps read it again. We've edited it to make it also a recommendation.
Okay, no, you're quite correct. My apologies, because I've written it down here, but it was supposed to be formally sent to them. Mr. Matthias, my apologies for that. Can you just read from A again?
Can I also be noted, Mayor? Just went to the law, sorry.
Jy is nou te laat, jong. Gee maar eerder vir Mr. Matthias the opportunity to read. Mr. Matthias, go ahead, sir. A. Mr. Matthias, can you hear me?
Yes, I'm just opening my my mail. Just a moment. I'll read it to you now, sir.
Okay, now my apologies. My apologies for putting pressure on you, sir.
Okay, the recommendation to the Municipal Council on this item is A, that the relevant transitional relocation areas of Kolweni, Oupa, Damsebos, White Location, Happy Valley, and Tempeni, Nakis East, Kalko, Heidevallei, and Renendal be redefined as informal areas. B, that the infrastructure...
Just keep on there, Mr. Matthias, just keep on there. Council, you happy with that A part?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Let's move it.
Happy, Mayor, happy.
That the Infrastructure Services Directorate facilitate the provision of basic services inclusive of electricity in the areas mentioned in A above.
Agreed?
C.
Yes.
Yes.
Go ahead, Carl.
Thank you, Mayor. C, that the Infrastructure Services Directorate developed a plan of electrification of the areas mentioned in A above for approval of the Municipal Council.
Agreed on that, councillors?
Yes.
Thank you. Move on, Matthias.
D.
Yes.
D. D. That the spatial development framework be amended to ensure the identification of land for future human settlements developments.
Great.
Great.
Okay, happy. Move on.
E, that the Integrated Human Settlements Directorate utilize vote number 9/216-52-539 for the repair of the relevant bungalows.
Read on that, councillors.
Yes.
Okay, gaan maar aankalen. Die mensen zijn in slaap. Move on.
Ons slaap nie meer. Ons niks.
Okay. My apologies. Go ahead, Carl.
F, that the Infrastructure Services Directorate facilitate the electrification of the relevant Wendy houses.
Read on that, councillors.
Yes.
Thank you.
And the last one, and G, that the Integrated Human Settlements Directorate verify occupants of the Wendy houses and formulate a database of the same.
Okay, happy with that wording?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Now, according to our Mr. Adonis, Mr. Matthias, and you need to assist me, I now need to ascertain whether it's unanimous or a recommendation. Is that correct? Or what is the process you want me to follow here, sir?
Mr. Meyer, it seems as if your committee agrees with you. So
Okay,
it would
then
be a
that's fine.
unanimous recommendation.
Nobody disagree. Right, it's unanimous. Thank you, Comrade Salas. Councillors, we finished with this item. Mr. Skippers, Dr. Skippers.
Mr. Mayor, thank you very much. I just wanted to get back to the question that Councillor Chokolo asked, and that is in respect of the items in committee that served before the Corporate and Finance Services Committee meeting. And it is indeed an oversight that should have come to you, but what we'll do is we'll submit that directly to the council meeting, the minutes on those items in committee. There are two items that we should have submitted to you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Sorry, Councillor Tiokolo, you've heard now the response of Dr. Skippers. Are you still want to engage with Dr. Skippers on that issue?
No. Thank you, Mayor. No. Thank you, Mayor. No, I've had a conversation with the acting MM. I'm okay with it serving in the actual council meeting, Mayor.
Okay, come on. Los, we gaan proberen.
I'm not sure whether you've captured me there, Mayor.
Councillor Tiokolo, sorry, I was trying to get Dr. Skippers and Councillor Matika to mute them. You can go ahead now, sir. I didn't get you.
Okay. No, I was saying, Mayor, earlier on I did have a conversation with the MM, and I said to him I don't have a problem if they come to the next council meeting. So I'll wait for them there. It's fine, Mayor. Thank you.
Then thank you very much, then, Councillor Tiokolo. So then we've dealt now with item number 10 on page 60, which is the report submitted direct to the Mayoral Committee. There's the one item. We're now on 11 matters submitted by the acting municipal manager. No items were received at time, and then there's a new one there. This one we've just touched on. There's no in-committee item. So we're now at number 13, which is closure. Before we're doing that, councillors and MM, I think we just need to get, the word together is the wrong word, just get into a short briefing on the current status of what's happening in the town. So I'm going to ask Kirsty to provide all councillors with a new link and all the directors, so that I can just convey to them information which I need to convey to all councillors that is interested. Councillor Wolmerans, I see your hand.
Thank you, Mayor. Can it be emailed to us, please?
You're talking about the link?
Yes.
Yes, okay. I'm going to ask her to do that. It's now 12:10. In order to get all councillors the opportunity to get that link, can we agree that we will have this informal communication session with all councillors? The speaker, I didn't ask your permission. I think I should still go through you. Speaker, is that fine that we can have an informal session informing councillors about the current status within the municipality at 1 o'clock, ma'am? Speaker? Ask Titino. If the speaker is not in the meeting, I will liaise with the speaker, but the intention is then just to have a half an hour at the most short briefing on the current status of what's happened in the municipality after what happened this weekend and other issues. At 1 o'clock, all councillors are welcome. I will liaise with the office of the speaker to make sure that all councillors being informed about it. Again, thank you very much for all the attendance to this meeting, to the public, to officials, and to councillors. This meeting now is officially closed. Thank you very much.